thrifting ain't easy, unless you're watching me. Welcome! It's Monday here on the Thrift Store Rundown, where we bring Hollywood home on a budget. As we get ready to leave 2024 behind once and for all, that got me thinking. As we go forward, we leave a lot of things behind in our lives. Clues, imprints, memories, and the like. Often, they stay behind and we forget about them. But more often than not, they find a unique way to come back to us, often culminating in a full-circle moment that brings a cherished piece of our past back to life. That's what we're going to talk about this week. What's left behind on the front line. What we leave behind can come back to the very center of our lives. Here's a practical, real-life, everyday example for you. Leftovers. Let's say you make a big meal to feed a crowd or a family of 6. Which, depending on anyone's viewpoint, can be one and the same, and you throw away the leftovers because you figured, well, nobody's going to be nauseous on those. But that's where you would be wrong. I'm not going to read the starving African children riot that like your mother or grandmother probably did. But you should never throw away leftovers. You have what it takes and what you need now to turn those leftovers into something stunningly delicious. Just as much as, if not more than, the meal that gave you those leftovers to begin with. And to prove that point, I brought in Tiffani-Thiessen, or if you really want to be retro, Tiffani-Amber Thiessen, and her second cookbook. Here we go again. Recipes and inspiration to level up your leftovers. This follows her pull-up-a-chair cookbook, which I'm still searching for. This worthy publication, which is an imprint of the Hatchet Book Group, was picked up retail for a significantly special reason. $32 here in the US and $40 in Canada. And what is that significantly special reason? There it is. If you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I got this personally signed by Tiffani-Amber Thiessen herself. Yes, that Kelly Kapowski. Yes, that Valerie Malone. And she was an utter doll, despite the challenging circumstances of that signing at Bookends in Richmond. Let's go over to Tiffani to discuss the genesis of this cookbook.
Hello, all my cooking adversaries, and cooking challenged as well. I think people can get overwhelmed with cooking from a cookbook because of all the long, daunting lists of ingredients or steps. When you go to the store and buy all of these ingredients that you'll use for one recipe, and then what? You do it again? The next day? Oh, come on. Hell no. Not a chance. This is one of the many reasons why I created my newest cookbook, Here We Go Again. A cookbook meant to help you upcycle your food and level up your leftovers. I wanted a recipe book that would help people make their food and budget stretch. Because I get it. No one has the time to cook something different every day. And if you don't love to be in the kitchen at all, then thinking about dinner every night, or any meal for that matter, can be terrible. But what if I told you the recipes in this book allow you to take what you have available in your fridge right now and create something new, something you probably didn't even think of? Here We Go Again will teach you how to make use of those ingredients in unique ways. Keep that palate guessing and make cooking fun again. So don't throw out those carrots threatening to go soft or that little bit of leftover sour cream from Taco Tuesday. No, not yet. My recipes in Here We Go Again will inspire even the faintest of hearts in the kitchen to make use of what you got.
So as you can tell, this is our first leftover-based cookbook. And the recipes are divided into the following chapters. Whether you're busting the crust or making it from scratch, she gives you tools, techniques, and recipes to make use of leftover protein, veggies, cheese, and dairy, and how to give leftovers some real marquee positioning in the Leftover Olympics chapter, aka the holidays. As per our MO, if there's no menu to adapt with and work from, then we're going to have to highlight one recipe from each chapter. And we start with baked French toast with jammy whip, which will serve 6 to 8. And by the way, it's not just for leftover proteins or veggies or other tangible things you might have still in the fridge or freezer. They can also apply to leftover seasonings or liquids, whatever. You can also use leftover half and half or heavy cream for this, which will serve 6 to 8. She also gives you additional ingredient prep tips and substitutions in these notes here. Clear out the fridge pasta salad with charred tomato dressing, which will serve 4 to 6. Hey, you can even char the tomatoes in the oven. And that's the case with this recipe, so it really is a 4-season affair. Next, Hamburger Junior VP, which pays homage to one of the hits from her childhood, Hamburger Helper. Whenever she saw that little red box, she and her 2 brothers knew that they were in for a treat. This is Hamburger Helper, almost made from scratch, with extra benefits. Being cost-conscious and still flavorful. That will serve 4. Speaking of nostalgia, I should tell you that the aesthetic design of this book fittingly pays homage to her retro roots. She was brought up in the 70s, so appropriately, this book has a 70s look to it, including her wardrobe. Maybe a tad too excessively retro in some areas, but who's keeping track? Next up is this early season savory tart. This serves 4 to 6. She gives you recommendations for what to fill this with for all 4 seasons. You could do heirloom tomatoes and cherry tomatoes with thyme and fontina cheese in the summer, asparagus with fennel and parm in the spring, carrots and Brussels sprouts de Gruyere in the fall, or in this case for winter, caramelized mixed onions. Consider this your permission to get creative. Now on to some cheese bits. This, I have to say, takes second place in my favorite portrait photos in here of Tiffany and her husband, Brady Smith. Yep, very reminiscent of, was it The Fox and the Hound or Lady and the Tramp? No, Lady and the Tramp. Yeah, I gotta get my retro Disney movies in order. And I don't have that many of them to begin with. And what I would give right now to take Brady's place in serving that spaghetti strand with the lovely Tiffani-Amber Thiessen. Some cheese bits, so you know this is gonna dive into leftover cheese. And this might be the prime example out of all of them. Deluxe grilled cheese sandwiches with onion jam. So yeah, it really is deluxe. Maybe too deluxe for some more conservative, youthful tastes. But hey, kids will eat almost anything. And if you get them involved in the process of making it, you'll have no trouble disposing of any and all leftovers you can fill with this. Within reason. Next, chicken a la vodka with anchovy breadcrumbs. Penne a la vodka of any kind, beefed up with some kind of protein, in this case chicken up with chicken. Sign me up for that. This is cheese cracker fried chicken sandwiches. Fried chicken sandwiches with a coating of any cheesy crackers of your choice. Cheez-Its, Goldfish, Doritos, or Cheetos. You know me, I love me some fried chicken sandwiches, but I never had them with a cheesy, crunchy coating. I probably wouldn't do Goldfish, maybe Doritos, but I gotta say, that's almost undeniable. And this right here, I don't know what's more stunning here. That great piece of meat or those stunningly blue eyes? I don't know, she's casting a hold on me right now. Our last recipe in here is Old School Ham Salad. The book as a whole pays homage to the 70s, so I figured it was appropriate to highlight a real 70s staple in many homes. Old School Ham Salad, which again serves 4, it also works with leftover mayonnaise. This actually is adapted from her mother's version. There are also libations in here and desserts, although one you might object to if you're me. Chocolate sponge cake, using leftover mashed potatoes as a binder for chocolate cake and then covering the top with potato chips. If you like the sweet and salty combo, hey, that could be an adventure for you. But for others, like me, not so much. But that and the excessively retro wardrobe, not in this area, but in other places aside, I think Tiffani-Amber Thiessen can rightly wear her crown as the queen of leftovers. Until America's Test Kitchen comes into play and has a cookbook of their own that's leftover based. I think you already have that. But oh well, Just to go into brief detail on the meet and greet / book signing, she took her sweet time getting there. She was a half hour late, thus the signing was rushed. She would only sign the cookbooks, nothing else. But she was sweet and hot, which of course is a winning combo in and out of the culinary arena, and I went to the Cheesecake Factory to celebrate. That's to make a long story short. This garnered rave reviews from Andrew Zimmern and Snoop Dogg, Phil Rosenthal, and Sam Geller. These three having already been under my lamp before. I'm giving this 4.5 out of 5 claps. Now you got all the tools you need to turn leftovers into real primetime players. And to make that dinner bell, once again, your savior. That's Here We Go Again by Tiffani Thiessen. Once again, my meet and greet recap will be this Saturday, and the Saved by the Bell DVD review will be this Thursday. Tiffani, I love you, and it was a pleasure. In the meantime, here's what's coming up for Tuesday. If you sell them cheap and they were appraised for a pretty penny, you'd be beating your head on the wall for months. But if you sell them premium and they were appraised equally, you, my friend, own life.
Hi, that's an old one.
Yeah, bet.
Yeah, you ready? High five. Nice to meet you.
I'm the only one who bought anything so that
You're so sweet. So nice to meet you. Thank you so much
That's
for
mine.
your patience. They will send you signed.
That's you.
I
That was
know,
so sad.
it's got me confused. It's a crazy rule, I know.
Well, in
Can
that
we get
case,
another high five?
until we meet again.
Yes, I
My
love
favorite
it.
fiction.
All right, I love. Nice to meet you, sweetheart.
Hello guys, it's Steven Romero. I'm gonna be famous.
And did you know Americans actually use more butter this time of year than any other time?
Well, butter makes everything better.
Right?
I don't
It really
know
does.
what it is.
Thanks for tuning in. Just so you know, there's no limit to bringing Hollywood home on a budget. Please go ahead and check out another awesome review like this one by clicking here, and make sure you subscribe by clicking here. Until next time, I'll catch you, as I always do, on the flip side.